duty.
So here's what I think. First of all, I would spend a week and a half trying to answer the question, what do you want? What do you want? What do you really want? And I don't necessarily mean like, I want a job at Valve. Because that's like a little bit too small in terms of the thinking scale, right? For instance, how would that job at Valve help you satisfy what you want? Let's blow them up.
Do you like to play with fire?
Reporting for duty.
And try to really think about that. Like, for me, I really like autonomy. I like autonomy. I don't like being held down. I like the idea that I could just move somewhere else on a dime and boom, there it is. I do not like working under someone and being told what to do. I do not like that. I am no fan of such a thing. I really want the ability to do my own projects. I like to explore and learn things. I want to have time to build games and write books and study media and learn stuff. These are the things that I really want. And I'm saying that a little more generally, but I mean very specifically, I want to develop games and make games and try to solve problems there. I really one day want to write. I want the autonomy to be able to explore these things freely. I don't want to have interruptions for that. These are much more conceptual, right? I want to study something and feel like I am building expertise in an area. Things that Sean wants. Things that I want. And so, this gives me a baseline to evaluate all of my choices. And so you establish this basis, this baseline, and this gives you a context to evaluate everything that you do. Why do I really like doing the show as it relates to that basis? Well, the show gives me a lot of autonomy to switch projects. If one day I wanted to write a book, well great, I can do the show and write a book, and when it's done I can say, hey everyone, read this book. Right now I'm making a game. And when I'm done with the game, I can be like, hey everyone, play the game. Really great. If all of a sudden I just want to take 6 months off, I can just do the show and relax the rest of the time. And say, hey, just look at me, tan. That makes a lot of sense. Would I work at any game company? No, absolutely not. But Artillery comes up and says, hey! Oh yeah, but Artillery games, like, look at this cool project we're doing. Look at the way that we structure our problem solving. We want you to be in charge of a lot of the direction of this, and we'll just let you do your thing. I mean, they're not that just like, yeah, we're not going to pay attention, you just do it. But like, there's a lot of freedom, a lot of autonomy. Oh, that really satisfies my goal of getting to the things that I want. Will also give me autonomy. Isn't that sick? I feel like, you know, if you wanted to be an expert on deep sea oceanography and just study the bottom of the ocean, you can then look at varying job opportunities. Maybe there's a job that pays $80,000 a year that has nothing to do with that, and a job that pays $60,000 a year that does have to do with that basis. Then you can look at the $60,000 a year job and say something very concrete. I want to pursue this because I can easily live within that number, and that helps me satisfy the big goal that I actually want. This sort of thing. And so I am a big believer in asking the question, what do you want? What do you want? Try to figure out what you want. Try to establish really firmly, really exactly, really clearly what that thing is. Try to answer what you want. And that can be really off-putting, because honestly the way that the whole world is structured is no one ever asks, like, what do you want to do? It's like, what job do you want? I want to be a chemical engineer. That's a great thing to want to be. That's not a useful statement at all. What? Are you kidding me? I want to be a chemical engineer. The end. Okay, you know what's gonna happen? You're gonna get a job as a chemical engineer, and then look around and go, "Oh shit! What do I do now?" You're not gonna have an answer. Or you're gonna say something like, "I want to get into Harvard," or "I want to get a job at Valve." And what if you don't get into Harvard? You don't get the job at Valve. Those are the short-term types of things that can go wrong. Jay Huoho says, "Hey, I'm a chemical engineer." To be clear, there's nothing wrong with being a chemical engineer, but there is something wrong with setting that as the full end goal. Having any job as the full end goal. Very problematic, because if things get a little shaky, if you get laid off, it can not only be a difficult financial situation, but it can be a real identity problem. Oh shit, now that I've been laid off, who am I even?
I must choose.
See, the fourth vapor says, sometimes what a person wants can be as simple as going home from work and enjoying quiet evenings with his wife. I think that's wonderful. I think that's awesome. I think that's fucking awesome. Like, I know, actually one of my good buds, I remember said to me, you know, all I really want is to never work on weekends. That's my goal. Never work on weekends. I want to have every weekend off. I don't want to have work invade on my weekend time. And I want to just hang out with my friends and have parties and game night. And I've known him for years and he does that. And it makes him so happy to do that. And that's awesome. Crazy Chris says, it's more the fact that what I wanted before the breakup feels like it's impossible now. I wanted to get married and have a family. Now that feels like it's a long way away from me. Should I stay focused on that or should I move in another direction? I think it's very important to have individual, like, just to do with self things.
I wonder.
For instance, I want to get married and have a whole bunch of kids, man. I want to have, like, a shitload of kids, man.
Practice makes perfect.
But I also have wants that have nothing to do with anyone else, only myself.